Today on the Nerdy Gritty, after receiving pressure from the Chinese government, Blizzard bans a professional Hearthstone player for showing solidarity with the Hong Kong protesters.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Nerdy Gritty, where we delve deep into the details of
Oh,
pop
now
culture.
we got to start over.
Nope.
We got to start all the way
nobody
over because
cares.
you ruined it.
No, that's just you, and I've never done that before.
I had to do that pre-intro like 8 times.
Yeah,
I was struggling.
It was a new record, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway.
Hey, Fox, what would you say was the very first popular thing that we did?
The first popular thing that
got
people watched?
that people got a decent amount of views. People watched it and enjoyed it.
I feel like I remember the Pun Wars being pretty big.
Oh, Pun Wars was pretty big.
I don't remember
That's true.
if there was maybe something before that. Or maybe like our first Spooktober.
The Resident Evil 7 demo.
Yeah.
Especially because
I was afraid.
You let
laugh
out
at my
the
fear,
best
you monsters.
scream in that game. You guys got to go back to our very, very first videos.
It's way long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
The quality's going to be bad.
The quality is not great. It's not great. I remember setting up and being like, that sounds so good. Oh, man. This is great.
And I'm sure, right now it's also not the best it could be, but we think it sounds pretty good.
I recognize that now, though. I'm like, you know what? We could sound better, but this is still very good.
Right.
Anyway, Resident Evil 7 is coming out with a prequel that you can go through now.
Really?
A VR prequel, though. Yeah. So, in this situation,
disappointing.
You are being... everybody's trying to get VR,
I know, but for me, that's immediately like, I guess I'm not playing that.
Right. And that's so weird to me because, we can even talk about VR at a later date, but...
We should, yeah.
To me, it feels like with motion controls, Nintendo just presented it, and people loved it.
It worked, yeah.
And then Microsoft and Sony tried to jump on the bandwagon.
And do something interesting with it, rather than...
Right.
Yeah.
And it was fine. It's fine. Sony and Microsoft were fine.
Yeah, and then look at the PlayStation Move now.
Right.
You can't.
And so, here we have VR. It was presented, and it was fine from the very beginning.
Sure.
It's fun. Some people really enjoyed it. Some people didn't at all.
Whatever.
And now it seems like they're still trying to force it on us.
To me, it's the same as 3D movies. Can it enhance the experience? Absolutely. There's a possibility of that. Does it always? No. Does it hurt more often? I think so.
Yeah.
I think VR is nothing but a semi-permanent fad. 3D already died again. It'll come back at some point. It just does that 3D was huge in the 80s too. So
right.
It'll
that
just come back and come in and out
blue.
of popularity. Yeah, when you had those. But I think VR is just kind of I'm pretty sure I've seen things about they've had the big announcement for PS5, some more details coming out next holiday season 2020, and I think I saw something about how VR in this generation will be wireless and things like that. And I was like, okay, so they're still going to do VR, I guess. So, all right.
I think they recognize that VR is still in its beginning stages and they can improve it. And if they get people on board now when it is improved, they can keep selling it.
Right. And I'm not against it. I think it's cool.
Right.
I think it's a cool concept.
If they can make it affordable, put it in a bundle with the system that I want anyway, and have it still be affordable.
Right.
And make it easy to use, not I have to hook it up like a surround sound where there are little cameras all over my house and hook up wires I'm on life support, then,
and then there are some cool, to me, the coolest application with it is, Bridge Crew, Star Trek Bridge Crew.
Yeah.
Where it's not about, you could play that game without VR. It just kind of gives you more of an immersion into what you're doing.
Right. Any game based on immersion as it is.
Right, yeah, and so it's just... to me, it's an enhancement. It shouldn't be the crux of what you're playing. If your game can't be played without VR, then I feel like it's not that, don't put out your game. Yeah.
So, all this to say, though, that Resident Evil 7 has a prequel coming, and you play as somebody who has been kidnapped by Jack.
Oh, that's the son, right?
No, that was the dad.
That was the dad?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
I think Lenny was the son.
Oh.
Or Leroy, or...
Leroy
Frank.
Jones.
Leroy Jenkins.
Yep.
And you're just trying to escape, and that's it. To me, what's a little bit sad about this is, spoiler alert, you won't. Like, I think we all know that you're not going to escape.
We've played 7 already, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am looking forward to the sequel to 7, though. Because
if
they follow their pattern, it's new game, remake. New game, remake. So if it holds, it'll be Resident Evil 8 will be the sequel in some way, and then they'll remake 3, which is a rumor. Yeah.
I would be... Dude, if those were 2 years of Resident Evil, or Resident Evil 8 and then remake of 3.
I mean, it's what they did with 7 and 2.
I guess that's true,
And then they remade 1 before that.
So
they remastered it.
They remastered it, yeah.
But yeah. Okay, cool. VR, but I won't play it, so that's disappointing.
Oh, you can watch it, though. I
can watch it. Play it. So we have very different concepts of the amount, like the to me, watching a game is nowhere near as fun as playing a game.
Oh, it's pretty close to me.
I don't really watch games very often.
It's somebody who has grown up watching sports.
Yeah. Oh, that's fair. That's a good point. Yeah. So, hey, what have you been up to this week?
A few things. After last week's hour-long
let's pare it down a little bit. I'm gonna say right here, no Dresden Files.
So I finished the Dresden Files.
Dang it! Wow, that's amazing. It's like 14 of those books.
No, I finished the series of Gotham.
Okay, the whole series.
Yeah, so this was the series finale.
Yes.
And this was only a 12-episode season, where everything else was like a 22-episode season.
Seems to be a thing in recent TV shows where they kind of wind down.
And it was all based in No Man's Land. We kind of talked about this last week. The ending was very good.
Oh, good. Man, it's going to be kind of a Batman-filled early part here, but what we did was go and watch Batman, the 1989 movie.
Yeah, we did.
But it was a little different because the score was being played by a live symphony in front of us.
So
right in front of us.
It was so good.
Yeah.
So there's Batman the movie, but they removed the music from it entirely.
They removed the score, and then so we were watching the movie, and then the symphony was playing the score in real time as we were watching it, and it was really cool. As far as also Batman related and Joker related, I went and saw Joker.
Yeah.
It was really great.
Yeah.
It was not like I wouldn't say it was a monument of cinema. Is it going
to win awards?
Oh, I at least nominated for sure. I could see Joaquin Phoenix winning Best Actor from what I've seen so far.
All right.
In the movie realm. Because he was the star, literally, and also just, like, it revolved around him.
Right.
Everything else in it was, I would say, fairly standard, what I expected.
On another Batman note.
Oh, more Batman.
You lent me the Superman and Batman number 1000.
1000s, yeah.
Yeah, and I just read those because I ran out of Dresden books to read. And they were fun. They were really good. Yeah. Not objectively, subjectively, but I definitely thought the Batmans were better than the Superman's ones, because the Superman ones.
So just for clarity's sake, there's Action Comics 1000 and Detective Comics 1000, and they were not they were not one story. They were both compilations of many stories,
little vignettes
celebrating the characters,
different artists, different writers, things like that.
Yeah. Action Comics 1000 came out a few weeks ago. Not Action Comics, Marvel Comics number 1000, which was, they were cheating because it counted the times when they were Timely Comics before they were Marvel, but they just wanted to have that also.
Right.
It's like, okay, it feels like, hey, me too. Yeah. Hey guys, Mom said I can have a comic too.
I saw Lego Movie 2.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of people were like, it's fine, it's all right. That's literally how I felt about the Lego Movie. Oh. I liked the Lego Movie 2 as much as the Lego Movie. I thought I gave them both a solid 6.5 or 7, somewhere in that area.
Sure.
And the movie was fun, and it made me laugh, and if not predictable, you know,
100%.
But it was it tried to kind of force the whole family thing in it, just like the first one.
Yeah.
And it was unnecessary, but I felt the same way about the first one.
I saw The Lion King.
Ooh.
I was like, hey, this is playing at a convenient time, and I didn't see it. And it was, I'll tell you this, I like it just as much as I like the original.
Okay.
As in, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine. They're the same thing. Just,
I hear the problem with this one is it was literally the same thing.
Yeah. Oh, it's
like
the
a shot
same
for shot
plot.
remake.
It's the exact same plot. Yeah, 100%. It's
whereas
the same thing.
Whereas the other live remakes, the live action
Cinderella
ones,
changed it up a little bit.
So did Beauty and the Beast.
100%. Yeah, Beauty and the Beast for sure changed it up.
Yeah.
Actually, a lot. But yeah, it's whatever. Like, it felt super unnecessary. Okay, and then I saw on Tuesday everybody's favorite movie, Hobbs and Shaw.
You loved it, didn't you? You loved it. I can
Boy, I'm
see
Hobbs.
it.
Honestly, I really enjoyed watching
I
it.
know you did, you
Now,
monster.
I don't think it was good. I don't think it was bad. It was, exactly what it was supposed to be. A really stupid over-the-top action movie. It was, like, to me, I think I described it to Faith as somebody wrote Mission Impossible with just as much knowledge of, like, what makes a decent script, but they were a frat boy instead of, like, an actual like a professional screenwriter. Also, one last thing, I watched Scream 2. This is just on Netflix.
You watched
I
Scream
arguably liked it more
yeah.
than Scream. I thought it was a really great sequel, but also I found it hilarious that in that movie there is a debate in a film class about whether or not movies cause violence. And I watched it 3 days after watching Joker. I was like, this is very relevant to my life right now.
They also
it's
have
super
a debate
meta.
on if sequels can be better than the original.
And they talk, like, throughout the movie. They're just like, how about this one? How about this one? Also, they mentioned, like, somebody was like, he brings up, Empire Strikes Back, sequel better than the original. And somebody says doesn't count because it's part of a trilogy,
it's a narrative.
pre-planned. I disagree. I don't think the whole trilogy was planned when Star Wars came out. Star Wars was just a sci-fi movie, and then it was popular, so they kept it. But also, even if it is, I think Empire Strikes Back is a better movie than Star Wars. So
it is.
Yeah. I think it still counts. Anyway, that's all I've got.
That's all I got too.
All right. Wow.
We might as well get down. Only half an hour this time.
Well, good. That's exactly what we want.
Yeah. Let's get down to that good old nerdy gritty.
I love it.
Hey guys, before we continue, we just want to let you know that what you just heard was actually an edited down version of the full podcast. We call it the short version. If you'd like to listen to what we call the director's cut, we'd really appreciate for you to head on over to our Patreon. That's patreon.com/dezandfox. At our second and third tiers, we offer an unedited version of our podcast, as well as all of our Patreon exclusive content. This means that videos that come out early, or when we talk about new stuff that we're doing, a lot of that shows up on our Patreon, or if we record an entire game through, we do the entire playthrough and put it on Patreon in one big chunk, and so you can binge watch that. All kinds of cool things like that happen to our Patreon all the time. But if that's not something that you can do, we totally understand. We just love when you guys support us in any way that you can. So when you like, comment, share, or rate us, that means the world to us. Thanks again, guys, and enjoy the podcast. So recently, there was a professional Hearthstone player that, after a tournament, was being interviewed. And during this interview, he showed support for Hong Kong protesters.
Yes. Let me give you some details here.
You got the article here. You go ahead, Fox.
I do. Let's see. Blizzard has found itself under international criticism. Blah blah blah.
Well, what's the site you're reading?
IGN. This is an article by Jordan Serrani, published the 10th of updated on the 10th of October. So just
recently,
yesterday.
Yeah.
Let's see. The player, professional Hearthstone player. I honestly don't know how to pronounce his name. But his screen name is Blitzchung.
Mm-hmm.
He vocalized his support for Hong Kong's liberation movement. If you are unaware somehow, there is a huge protest that's been happening for, I think, 5 weeks now. Months. In Hong Kong, trying to separate Hong Kong. They do not want to be under Chinese rule anymore. Right. Because China's government is bad.
It's not good.
They're not good people. So at the end of, after he won this tournament, let me see, what tournament was it?
It's a Hearthstone tournament.
Well, yeah, I think it was like the World Championship or something like that. A huge championship. He was being interviewed, and he used a slogan that is used by the protesters. And let's see. Okay, I don't have that right here either. Basically, he used a slogan that was used by the protesters, showing his support for them.
Times like this make me feel like we should start outlining our episodes.
Maybe a little. Well, yeah. I mean, really, that's not the key. Like the concept is
right.
Yeah,
He
what
showed
he said
support
is not important. What was
Hong
said
Kong.
through it. Yeah, he showed support for Hong Kong, and the Chinese government was not a fan.
Clearly not.
No, because what happened?
Well, this is, to be clear, this is the same government that will like get you in trouble or lean on you if you allude that their president looks like
Winnie the Pooh. Yeah,
Yeah.
Xi Jinping is his name.
Xi Jinping.
Yes.
And so anyway, the Chinese government kind of leaned on Blizzard
Yes.
to say, hey, you need to do something about this. And Blizzard banned this guy with the
12-month ban.
12-month ban with the contract, like the reference to the contract, the stipulation that said you cannot say anything that is offensive to a large group of people.
Yes. Very,
And-
very vague.
Right, vague on purpose, which I think that's good.
We've said that before.
part needs
Being
to be
vague is probably important.
Yes. But the people they offended, the large group of people they offended was the Chinese government. Like,
Yes. At the same time, also a consequence was he did not receive any of the money he won that season of Hearthstone.
oh, I didn't know that.
Even for things he had
Jeez.
already won, for games he had already won. Something like 10 grand he did not receive.
Man. So we want to talk today just about how this was handled, our thoughts on it, maybe how it could have been handled differently, and the situation in general. So I want to ask you, Fox, what was your first reaction to hearing all of this?
I mean, not surprised. This is not the first time this has kind of happened. I mean, maybe not in this specific way, but the Chinese influence on Western media has actually been growing in a huge way lately.
Right.
If you've ever seen a movie where at the beginning there's a logo that says 10 Cent Productions, that is a massive Chinese media conglomeration that is been funding a lot of movies in the West, especially Sony movies, and meaning that that influence, as well as the amount of money that China brings in for like something like Warcraft, the movie, failed in America,
Flopped.
but was worldwide a massive success because of
China.
Chinese revenue. So there's been this huge influence from Chinese, the government, as well as the Chinese culture on Western media in a way that's, negative things like this, but also just in general, we can make money there. And so people are changing their movies or writing a movie in order to not be in any way, even if it's not outright offensive, to be as easy for a worldwide global viewership to consume.
Right.
So a big example of this would be like the new Mummy movie. There is specifically scenes of exposition in this movie where you are getting like flashbacks or whatever, but where all
You're
the
talking about the Tom Cruise movie, yes?
the Tom Cruise Mummy movie that came, it was supposed to be the start of the Dark Universe,
Right.
and it failed miserably because it was a bad movie. But part of this is expositional scenes where by like Russell Crowe doing his voice, they were told in voiceover rather than showing Russell Crowe saying these things. So you could very easily change it
Right.
and just swap out certain words or cultural specific things so that it would be easily consumable by the entire world. For something dumb like The Mummy, that's not a big deal, but it does kind of hint at this artistic fluidity where it comes like kind of an integrity issue here. You're not writing a script because you think it's good. You're writing it so that it will be maximally profitable in the world. And so all that to say, when it comes to China influencing a massive media company that makes revenue from all over the world with its video games, influencing them and them saying, okay, yeah, not surprising, like not shocking at all.
See, I actually was surprised.
Really?
Yeah, because, I mean, we heard about a while back when there was a game on Steam that, little Easter egg, just, there's like it was a horror game and there was a picture on the wall. It was from like South America or something like that,
Okay.
this game. But on the wall, there was a picture that subtly alluded to Xi Jinping looking like Winnie the Pooh. And so, of course, China leaned on Steam.
Yeah.
And Steam pulled the game down.
Yep.
Like took it off their shop altogether. And when you're talking about some little indie game from the middle of nowhere on Steam, sure. All right, fine. But Blizzard has all of the money.
Yeah.
And Blizzard has all of the power as well.
Sure.
And for China to lean on them and for Blizzard to buckle, to me, I mean, I almost wonder what would have happened the other way around. If Blizzard said, hey, this happened. We as a company support free speech as long as it is not, directly offensive to a particular group of people,
Right.
and to support political parties in whichever way that you want. We want to make it clear that we have been very heavily suggested to ban this guy by the Chinese government, and we are
choosing not.
We are choosing not to. So whatever happens from here, know that it's kind of a product of that. And then at that point, it's bouncing the ball back into China's court and saying, whatever you do now, you're just a jerk.
So that there's been a lot about the whole Chinese protest and on the radio recently, and a lot about how China kind of conducts itself in the on the global scale. Honestly, based on what I've learned, I am not an expert in this at all.
Right.
I'm going off of radio interviews and all these things, whatever. But that'd been fine. They're generally not concerned with coming off as, I mean, you can just see that obviously from how they treat human rights and stuff, and lots of other things we can get into. We're not here to just bash on China for a while, but maybe a little, but not forever. But like that, to me, that would be a great response from Blizzard. I agree with you. It wouldn't have done much as far as China being concerned.
But what is China going to do?
Well, exactly. Right. That's I think that is a great response. But yeah, they've been like, okay, we're jerks, or just ignored it, or whatever. So
at that point, let's say that China says, Blizzard games are illegal in our country now. You're not allowed to play Blizzard games.
And there's the problem.
And that's a huge, huge amount of money. But also, the rest of the world can respond to that.
Yeah.
I can stand up. I personally would be like, you know what, Blizzard? I'm going to buy Hearthstone now. Or I guess Hearthstone's free, but
I'll give you $5.
I'll buy stuff now.
Yeah. And I'll play Diablo 3 or something.
Yeah, absolutely. I will support you in some way. And the amount of people that would do things like that, right now, the flip side is happening.
Yes.
People are saying boycott Blizzard.
Yes.
And they had to know that would happen.
There are videos going up of people deleting Hearthstone, which you see that a lot with companies that, or with people that companies do things they don't like. So like people like shooting their Yeti coolers. And you're like, you already paid for that. You already
bought it.
You're just shooting your own property now. Just cover up the logo or something. This though, like Hearthstone thrives on continued player use and money going into it. So if you just delete it, microtransactions, like, oh, we can't make money off of that now.
Right.
It's that's effective.
Revenue.
Yeah.
And so I understand that they had a choice between where they're going to lose money. And they probably chose the way that they were going to lose less money, but also they're going to lose face in this.
They are. The general population, they are owned by EA now. EA owns Blizzard, and EA already doesn't have a great, you're just compounding this problem here.
And so to me, I was surprised, not with China's response. That makes perfect sense to me. Yeah, they are.
I'd have been surprised if they did the right thing.
Right, absolutely. But Blizzard, to me, I'm shocked that they didn't say, you know what, we're going to lose money either way. Yes, I understand that this way we're going to lose less money, but we also want to be supported by our fans.
Right.
We also want to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And at that point, again, they're going to gain money from people like me who are like, I want to support. The hashtag support Blizzard would have come out at that point.
Support Blizzard, or at the end of the day, really what their choice was support players or support China. Like that like their choice wasn't like, we're just gonna, they are on the side of either the people playing their game with political opinions that possibly might be offensive to some people, or we're on the side of communist China. That is the choice they made, and that's just baffling. That is a crazy choice to make.
And so I sit here and I'm shocked, again, honestly surprised that this was Blizzard's course of action.
Yes.
So the question comes then, what could have they, what should they have done? I already talked a little bit about what I think they should have done, but also that's a lot of money loss for them.
Really? Well, yeah.
A lot of money.
I do wonder how much money. Yeah.
So what do you think they could have done to kind of help this whole situation? Maybe save face for themselves, or maybe help make some revenue back?
I see. This is the hard part. I don't know how much. I really don't know what they could have done. There's a lot of responses, but at the end of the day, they have vague rules for a reason. They have vague guidelines for a reason. Don't say things that are offensive to most people or a large group of people. Now, if you actually watch the video of this interview, it's actually very interesting. While he's talking, while he's saying like the slogan or whatever, the two people interviewing him hide their faces.
Oh,
because they know what's going on.
Yep.
They are Chinese announcers. They know that this problem. They were fired immediately.
Yep.
And the government, it might not be good for them. It might not be good for their situation. Because the problem is here, it's not just corporate or government like goodwill. It's you are dealing with a government who is willing to kill.
Right.
Like this is a murderous government. They are not just we'll condemn you publicly. It's you won't see your family again.
Yeah.
Like that literally could happen. I'm not saying it did, not saying it whatever. I'm just saying that it could. From history, we have seen that happen. Recent history, we have seen this government do these things. And so there's an element of actual real world danger when it comes into this. And did Blizzard say, hey, we want to do this, but also maybe it's in the best interest of the people who play our game to do like I don't know how, like, did they want to say, I think there's a whole dimension of this that doesn't just say, well, who do we want to be on our side? Because if we say, oh yeah, players good, we're good, take that, China, and then China does something, is Blizzard responsible? That's a whole debate. But what they could have done was like less of a penalty, maybe. You still get your money because you already played the game, and won the thing. Maybe you don't get to have any public like interviews or anything as a representative of this game or Blizzard, or I mean even a ban for like I don't know, something less to a lesser extent, or I don't know. There's just so much that goes into this. It's more it's at the same time as being just a corporate debate about public appearances. It's also like a geopolitical like situation.
It's so rough.
And so
kind of like back when the interview came out and Sony had the interview come out and North Korea was like, hey, we're going to start a war if you release that movie.
Yeah. And you could say, well, no, North Korea, you're goofy and ridiculous and you wouldn't actually do that. But also then you could say, wait, North Korea is goofy and ridiculous. Maybe they actually
what if they did?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so at the end of the day, Sony would, I don't blame Sony like for saying, you know what, this movie's probably not very funny anyway.
Right.
Let's just not possibly be in some way responsible for a bomb being dropped on our country. Like, yeah, I don't envy Blizzard. I think they made the less good choice, but I also can't say, hey, you're evil because you made that choice.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I don't think Blizzard are bad for what they did. I would use the word cowardice. I would for what they did. I honestly think they could have been really smart about this and looked at a few steps ahead. Were I Blizzard, here's what I would have done. Release the statement that I said before. This is exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
At that point, there is no Blizzard China. There's nobody who works for Blizzard in China. It's not that I know of. There might be like satellite people who work from home in China or whatever else. So, chances are, though, there's not going to be a invasion of Blizzard China and coming down or whatever else. But Blizzard releases the statement, they say, hey, but we're not going to do anything about this. We support our people. If he had come out as a white supremacist, we probably still would have been like, hey man, free speech, as long as he's not being offensive or anything like that. He just says, I support white supremacy.
He said his slogan. Well, he literally just said his slogan. He did not say anything inherently offensive. It was more of just your political ideals being offended, something
like that. And so, but we're not going to do that. Okay, so China at that point says, okay, we're banning Blizzard games in our country. But then the hashtag support Blizzard comes out.
Yeah.
Then Blizzard puts their games on sale a little bit.
Yeah.
They put everything on sale.
Sure.
But a lot of the microtransaction goes up 25 cents, 50 cents maybe, something like that. And they do this whole thing. And then a year later, a new like season or new what it's called, like a new set of cards,
A new expansion.
a new expansion comes out, Rebels. The moment,
Yeah, bring it up.
the moment
it.
that Blizzard becomes illegal in China, you know what everybody's going to want to do?
Yes.
Play Hearthstone.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they're going to want to be like, ooh, this is ooh. Like it's that you tell a kid don't do that. That's exactly what they want to do. And then you release Rebels.
Right.
And oh man, like
Yeah, they're all about it.
I feel like that would be Blizzard staying neutral, being like, this is what we're trying to do. We want to stand up for equality, not being pressured by a government.
Yeah.
But also, let's make a little bit of money here, you know?
The same way,
let's kind of pull this around.
They could have, quote unquote, you're banned, Blitzchung, from playing in China.
Yeah.
But we'd like to bring you to America for this tournament. Like,
yes,
like
absolutely.
show, like, yeah, okay, China, whatever, but we still support you hard. Like, do something to, I mean, yeah, I like the idea of the subversive, like, yes, you can't play anymore, but only in China or something.
Yeah.
Like, do it in a way that specifically hurts China, not the players or player
Absolutely.
in China.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, or even something like, ooh, you're banned from our tournaments. Hey, do you want some advertising revenue?
Yeah.
We'd love for you to be like on some of the covers or to be
Yeah,
part of the
yeah.
ads for our stuff. Just little things like that. Like, hey, you're going to lose out on some money, but also we support you. So here's some more back to you.
Yeah, because this whole boycott Blizzard thing, like Mei, the character in Overwatch,
Yeah.
has now become the face of this Chinese or Hong Kong
Because
protest.
she is Chinese.
She is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's been a thing on social media, and not even like just from Overwatch players. She's become a face of the protest,
Right.
because of this whole Blizzard involvement. And that's like Blizzard, you did the wrong thing.
Yeah, because you know what? Now China hates Blizzard anyway.
Yes.
Because their characters are part of the protesting.
Yeah, their character. Yeah, exactly. Like you are. If you had said no, we support him, and then all this happened, you are like the same thing could have happened, and you would have been the hero, rather than now like
Part of the problem.
Yeah, it is still baffling, but at the same time, I still can't just say Blizzard, you done everything wrong, because there's so much to this beyond just a simple video game tournament that somebody can't play anymore. That I feel like part of their, like, yes, they were worried about their income, I guess.
Right.
But also maybe worried about the safety of the people who play their game.
That's fair. That's fair. Because when you look, I mean, there is so much to this. I mean, we're two guys in America that have no idea about what's going on behind the scenes.
Yes.
Like, for all we know, the Chinese government could have said, hey, you need to ban this guy or we're going to kill him. So those are your choices.
Yeah, like we were not there. We're not part. We're going off of what there's just such an outcry now against Blizzard.
And of course, we are being extreme with the Chinese government here. We're talking about extremes
at the same time as we don't know what either of them have done.
Right.
We're going off of history. I mean, if China had done the right thing, this protest wouldn't exist. Like this whole situation. Obviously, at the very root of all of this is the Chinese government.
Yes.
Their rights on their public, easily Googleable human rights record is just like a problem.
Garbage.
It's a problem for them inherently. So, but yeah, this has just become such a widespread thing. Ron Wyden of one of our senators made a public statement about this.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like it's such a big.
You say
deal.
our as in Oregon?
Oregon's,
yeah,
or one of Oregon's senators, also Marco Rubio of Florida. They've condemned
the amount of vitriol in your Marco Rubio, Florida.
That guy's a freaking coward. But both of them have made statements, basically acquiescing to the China, or saying no, being angry at Blizzard.
Oh,
for
not acquiescing.
No,
okay.
they were not.
Yeah,
everybody and their mother has come out on the side of the protesters.
Right.
That's, I mean, politically, that's just good. Like
that's the wise thing
people
to do.
because, like, if you care about freedom and liberty,
humans,
yes, then you support Chinese protesters. It's, man, at the end of the day, though, what's gonna happen from here? Like, that's really what I'm like. There, people in China itself are now trying to get Blizzard banned.
Yeah,
they have brought this on themselves.
Yes,
they are like the end of the day, they should have said, okay, they'll ban us, but we'll come out looking like heroes, or we'll look like villains, and then our game will get banned anyway.
Yes.
like that's not a big stretch of the imagination. Like you would have, man.
And so, I mean, to the final question here, what's going to happen from here on out? I think Blizzard has taken a huge blow.
They really have.
And I think it's going to stick with them for a while.
It's probably going to be an issue.
Now, I don't think it's going to destroy them. Blizzard makes too much money, and they are too successful. They're too good at what they do for this to be a forever damaging thing.
I think they could reverse actions, though.
Oh, yeah.
They need to.
Yes, they very much
take away the ban. Like I say, I mean, because I'm not in the same position as them and wouldn't have really any of the consequences, go the opposite direction. Put out your own May memes supporting the go extreme with it.
See, I don't think Blizzard should support the protests, as I think they should be neutral. I think them supporting it would be a step in the wrong direction of just being political. I don't think they should be political at all.
Look, man, Elie Wiesel, Holocaust survivor and author, once said that neutrality only ever supports the aggressor, only ever supports the evil.
That's true when you're an individual or even a country, but as a business, I don't know if it's your goal as a business to support. No, I guess
it's not. No, tough. Obviously, it's not your goal it's not Blizzard's goal to support or to be against governments. Like that's not what they set out to do. But in this instance, it's the right thing to do.
Right.
Just like it's the right thing to do to write a quality movie script rather than try to maximize your profit and make a bad movie because of it.
Right.
It's the same argument of like integrity versus artistic integrity versus profitability. Like we've had that debate many times.
Yeah.
And I think this just kind of is a different realm of artistic integrity versus, I mean, it's the same thing. You're just, the government of China is now the thing that you are going against instead of like for a moral studio influence.
From a moral standpoint, I guess you're right.
Right. And at the end of the day, that's what we're saying is that they did the wrong thing from a moral standpoint.
But I also think they did a wrong thing from a business standpoint.
Sure.
I think they're going to lose money from this.
And then we also said that the money standpoint, that was going to be bad for them either way.
Right. They're going to lose money either way. Might as well lose money.
Might as well go down like a hero. Exactly. And then probably also make some money off of American, like the West and other markets because of it. And then you made more money than you would have anyway. Like
what is possible is if Blizzard already has their ace in the hole and 3 months from now, they're going to be like, we're releasing the ban because of good behavior or whatever else. Things have been going really well or whatever else. And so we want to welcome him back.
I guess. To me, this would be like the best way to handle it right now would be to immediately put out a statement saying, hey, we were wrong.
Yeah.
Like we've said that before.
That's so rare though.
It is. But so just rare. Like with Bethesda making a bad game or whatever, saying, hey, we messed up.
Yeah, Todd Howard came out and said we made mistakes.
Right. That's the best way to go. Like, we want to see honesty. And it's again, goes back to moral integrity. Like, are you putting, like, your artistic integrity and your support for the people who play your game before profitability? Because it's just, in the long term, the best way to go, I think, is always supporting your players. Even if you don't necessarily agree with their political stance.
Right.
Because the opposite in this situation is supporting a tyrannical, murderous government. And that's generally never the right way to go.
Probably a bad idea there.
You're going to be on the right side of history if you go against tyrannical, murderous China.
Man. Well, guys, let us know what you think about this whole situation. Let us know what you think about Blizzard's decision, about what they should do or could have done otherwise. Let us know what you think about our plans, our thoughts on the situation. Thanks for watching, guys. We appreciate your support. And as always, it helps so much when you guys like, share, comment, or whatever you can do to help support us. It's great. And always remember that saved games save lives.
Bye.